the auditions went really well, and I recall Robert was the only one that asked me to kind of improvise the audition, because I was going on auditions on a regular basis. But he was the only one that asked me to improvise, and he said, what I would like you to do is to kind of break up a fight between two campers, and be as, you know, I just want to see how you would break them up, how you would break the fight up. So here I am with these, you know, two imaginary kids fighting, and I think what he kind of liked was, rather than me, you know, screaming and really getting mad, I believe he liked that I could kind of control the situation a little bit more, and, you know, rather than throwing kids around and putting more force into it, I think being a little bit more softer but stern to get my point across, and kind of controlling the situation like that. And so I kind of kept with that method and way of thinking. So one evening I'm fishing, and I brought some waders with me so I could kind of walk off into the water a little bit. And it was getting dark pretty quick. And there was a nice current that was going down the Hudson River. And this was a horror show in real life. Well, I looked down at each leg, and I had a snake wrapped around each of my legs. So evidently the current caught the snakes as they were flowing down the stream, one wrapped around one leg and the other wrapped around the other leg. And you know, rather than panicking, I had my fishing rod, and, you know, I kind of put it between the leg and the snake, and I pushed it off like this, and I let the current take that snake down. And then I did the same, you know, with the other snake, kind of just pulled him off a little bit, real gentle, because he was kind of close to an area that really snakes don't need to be close to. So I kind of pushed him off real gingerly like, and let the current take him downstream. And then, because it was getting dark, but it was, gosh, it was like somebody just turned the lights out at that moment. And that path, that was very easy to find, oh, so obvious in the daylight, it disappeared at night. And I'm walking along going, oh, you know, try to feel for where the lower grass is rather than the higher weedy kind of grass, and then kind of bang into the brush. And well, pretty quick, I kind of got lost. Really, to tell you the truth, I got lost, and I felt my breathing getting a little bit harder, and I started to hear the ding 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 dueling banjos theme song playing up there somewhere. And you know, as I'm trying to, now I'm starting to sweat a little bit now, shaking, heartbeats going a little bit. We're in the middle of a horror film. Things aren't looking too good. And so I knew I had to go uphill. So I finally found my way out about 3 miles from where I started, you know, up onto the highway, which really makes great for one of those, you know, the horror films where you see the tractor trailer come and you see the silhouette of the guy standing in front like this, and the next thing, before you know it, there's no more guy. So it really didn't look good from beginning to end. And I made sure that if I went fishing again, it was I left in, you know, time quick enough to return safely, which I ultimately did. So, but I never forgot that story, and I never forgot those snakes. Dead Kenny in a box. Out came Kenny. Well, this was the scene that we were shooting the fight scene, and I think our call was maybe 8 o'clock or so at night, because there was a point where we were doing evening scenes on the set, and you would sleep during the daytime, which is a pretty difficult thing to do. And then you'd have breakfast at, you know, 6 o'clock in the evening, and then you'd get picked up at 8 o'clock or whatever it was, and you'd go onto the set. So it must have been about 3 o'clock or so in the morning, and we were in that you know, where the canteen was, and where the activities were. They were showing the movies and such, and having the social. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, we set up that fight scene, I pulled Ricky away from everyone else, and I was getting a little thirsty. And I recalled seeing a refrigerator out in the back someplace, and it was it was an area that wasn't being used. It was a dark area, away from everything. So I'm walking kind of by myself, and really all I wanted to do was just get some water. Maybe I'd get lucky and find a Coke or something. So I opened up the refrigerator. Jesus Christ! I couldn't believe it. There was Ricky sitting in there all chewed up. Half of Ricky. I'm sorry, Ricky. Half of John.
Kenny.
John Dunn. Half of Kenny. So that was pretty scary because that was the last thing I expected. We didn't know that that he was going to be kept. It was a gelatin-based type of material that needed to be kept refrigerated. So they kind of kept him in the back, but nobody knew about him. There were a lot of secrets that were going on, on this set, and I mean for good reasons, and of course it was on a need-to-know basis. So, but I stumbled upon one of these things, which almost gave me a heart attack. This was extraordinary. It was an extraordinary experience. I've got to tell you, I had no idea that there was such a following. I loved the movie, but I loved it for my own reasons. But to find out that fans love the movie, for their reasons, and to keep it going, to have the staying power, longevity over all these years, is extraordinary.
What was all your experiences like when the film came out? Once it opened?
I had two brothers, first of all, who had a ton of friends. So when we all went to the movie theater for the first time, talk about getting hectic. Having two brothers with all their buddies, look at the blue stripes with the red stripes going down. Hey, that's my shirt. I mean, there were just so many funny things that happened. But we really had a great time. I mean, there's one thing just to see yourself on the big screen. And there's another thing, taking girls' phone numbers on the way out of the movie theater. So that was, I tell you, it was, and it's gratifying. I'm so appreciative of the fans